Welcome in, Dharma Boots. We actually, of all days, uh, today when I have to make it a short video, when I have to make it a short service because, well, I'll get into that in a second, is the first one that we're back on both YouTube and Facebook. And I think they're both working. Let me just double check here quick. Yep, okay. So I have both devices up and running, and I have both pages up and running. Now, the reason why I have to make it incredibly, like today I have to make it short is because, well, let's be blunt about it. We've had a number in my unit, we've had a number of suicide attempts and suicidal ideations in the last couple of weeks. And one of them happened to happen about an hour ago, I think. I don't have exact timeline. I think it was about an hour ago. Um, And so as soon as that individual's teammates are back from whatever mission it was that they were on, uh, not gonna get into that. Whatever mission they were on, they're gonna be back at probably right around the same time as I would normally end the service. So they're going to have them come back and then bring them straight over here, and I'm gonna do some uh, traumatic event management or yeah, something along those lines. So we have to make this brief. We have to make this short. I'm going to try and do as best I can with this as I can. But I'm a mess too. I'm a mess right now, and honestly, I'm kind of sorry that that's the case. I really wish that. I really wish today hadn't happened. Let's put it that way. Man. So, yeah, let's get into it. Today's passage is going to be, I figured it was only appropriate to adjust what I was going to do. So instead of doing what I was going to do, today I'll be doing how one is qualified to visit the ill or visit the injured. Because I'm about to do that tomorrow. Again, you guys, I owe you guys better than this. So for next week, if you have any topics or themes or ideas that you want me to talk about, by all means, let me know. Either comment section, I'll read both of them. But with that said, that's what we're gonna do, and let's get to it. Because, like I said, I gotta cut out a little on the early side. Maybe I'll post something on over the weekend and just kind of give you guys like a second taste of. Never mind. All right, let's get to it. Let's get to it. With that, we're going to go ahead and move directly into the meditation. Um, I'm thinking just like a little 10-minute meditation should be good. Actually, no. Man, I am such a train wreck today. I'm sorry. Uh, we're just going to do a quick 5-minute meditation because I legit have to get this all picked up before they arrive. Um, Take a couple of seconds to go ahead and get yourselves in order. I'm going to do what I can to get myself in order for this meditation, short as it will be. I will meditate a little bit later. I encourage you guys to do the same on your own time, on your own, whatever that looks like for you guys. Okay, we all ready? Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. I do apologize. I really do wish, I really do wish that today was not the day that it is, uh, and that I actually had the time to do that properly. If you guys want, particularly those of you who are not watching while it's live, I can't stop live things, yeah, do feel free to pause and go into a longer, deeper meditation. Perhaps one on compassion for, well, for all parties involved, actually, at this point. Uh, yeah. Okay, so as I mentioned at the beginning, the passage that I decided to go through today is on attending the sick. And yes, I realize it's a little on the selfish side for me to do a passage that kind of relates to what I'm going to need to be doing. So this is almost more for me than it is for you, but it also is useful, I think, for everybody to know what the Buddha says when we should be doing when people are sick, when people aren't in good spots, when people aren't in necessarily the best health, mentally, physically, otherwise. Um, so let's take us a look at this and ask ourselves, how can I put this into practice in my daily life, right? So the passage is from the Anguttara Nikaya, um, and it reads, monks possessing 5 qualities, an attendant is qualified to take care of a patient. What 5? He is able to prepare medicine. He knows what is beneficial and harmful, so that he withholds what is harmful and offers what is beneficial. We're going to come back to this in just a second. Hold tight. He takes care of the patient with a mind of loving kindness, not for the sake of material rewards. He is not disgusted at having to remove feces, urine, vomit, or spittle. He is able from time to time to instruct, encourage, inspire, and gladden the patient with the Dharma talk. That works. Man. Possessing these 5 qualities, an attendant is qualified to take care of a patient. Possessing 5 other qualities, a patient is easy to take care of. What 5? He does what is beneficial. He observes moderation in what is beneficial. Now, okay, see, we just went through this and said, and the Buddha just said, right? He knows what is beneficial and what is harmful, and withholds what is harmful and offers what is beneficial. But here he's saying he does what is beneficial and observes moderation in what is beneficial. What? Like, please help me understand this, because my brain is just not working today, and I am not wrapping my head around it. It's not coming. Like, what are we talking about here? Dharma, please help me figure this one out. All right, so I'll come back to that in just a second. Let's finish these up. So this is the patient we're talking about, all right? Does what is beneficial, observes moderation in what is beneficial. He takes his medicine. He accurately discloses his symptoms to his kind-hearted attendant. He reports as fits the case that his condition is getting worse, or getting better, or remaining the same. He can patiently endure arisen bodily feelings that are painful, racking, sharp, piercing, harrowing, disagreeable, sapping one's vitality. Possessing these 5 qualities, a patient is easy to take care of. So, it looks like I got a notification. Yay! Have not heard from a while, Jeff. Yeah, this is Roseberg Chapel number 2 in Vilseck, Germany. Admire the echoes. Or enjoy the echoes, I should say. But so yeah, help me out here. Like, what is the Buddha trying to get at when he's laying these conditions out? Like, I get the possessing 5 qualities, an attendant is qualified to take care of a patient. Those ones make sense. Those ones are super easy. They're able to prepare medicine. Yep, an attendant has to be able to do that. He knows what's beneficial and harmful, and withholds what is harmful and offers what is beneficial. Sure, right? Every medical attendant is going to want to do what is beneficial for that patient and not harmful, so that that patient can get better. This makes perfect sense. This is plain and simple. Takes care of the patient with a mind of loving kindness, not for the sake of material rewards. Again, this is common, like this is super simple. There's nothing even remotely hard to understand about that. 4 is not disgusted by having to remove feces, urine, vomit, or spittle. If a doctor or a nurse were unable to do that, they would not probably be your first choice in doctor or nurse, right? As the case may be, because they wouldn't be able to do, they would be getting like visibly disgusted at the stuff that's coming out of you. That's not your first choice of doctor, right? Doctors have to look at it and be like, oh, okay, yeah, well, that's definitely blood, that's definitely spittle. Okay, good deal, let's clean it up. That it makes perfect sense, right? And condition number 5, he is able from time to time to instruct, encourage, inspire, and gladden the patient with a Dharma talk. Of course, this would be like if a monk was attending on a patient. Possessing these 5 qualities, an attendant is qualified to take care of a patient. These ones make perfect sense, but then the Buddha has to throw this extra thing on there, and I totally forgot that this was here. And already we're getting spam. Sorry about that. If you're seeing spam, please report it, and I will take care of it. These videos are not designed for that. They're not designed for that kind of content. So, okay, back to the passage at hand. So, possessing these 5 other qualities, and these are like this really threw me off when I read this because it makes no sense, right? We're saying that an attendant, somebody, a doctor or a nurse or maybe a monk, or if the attendant is, right? If the attendant is somebody's family, I'm going to move camera over here. Sorry. So whoever is attending on the patient, right? The patient is supposed to do what is beneficial, observe moderation in what is beneficial. Like, what sense does that make? Like, please help me figure that one out. Right? Thank you for reporting them. That's useful for me. I will take care of that as soon as the live gets over. That's probably going to be one of the drawbacks of going live is that those are going to be things that come up. At any rate, so patient does what is beneficial, but does so in moderation. So a patient does what is beneficial, but does what is harmful in moderation. What does that mean? What are we talking about here? Like what specifically does that tell you? Because I'm kind of drawing a blank on it a little bit. Right? Best that I can come up with, and feel free to correct me where I'm wrong on this one. Right? Absolutely feel free to be like, no, he's not talking about that at all. He's talking about this other thing or something. Right? The best that I can come up with is sometimes medicine doesn't taste particularly good. Right? We don't want to take medicine. So it's not going to seem like it's beneficial, but it actually is, right? So doing what is beneficial in moderation is like, yeah, I'm going to, hold my nose and take this medicine, even though it tastes terrible and I really don't want to take it because it's ultimately beneficial, right? That's the best that I can come up with. And I'm totally spitballing that one, but I don't I don't have any other kind of way of explaining what the Buddha is talking about here, because it still makes no sense, right? 3, patient takes his medicine. That one makes sense, right? So if we have a patient who, sorry, the fire trucks just passed 2 of them, which inevitably means something went down. I'm hoping it's not what I think it is. Anyway, so patient takes medicine. Patient accurately discloses the symptoms to his kind-hearted attendant, reporting whether he's getting better or getting worse or remaining the same, like whether the treatment is helping or not. That makes sense, sure. And the patient can patiently endure arisen bodily feelings that are painful, racking, sharp piercing, terrible, and sapping one's vitality. See, here's the thing. Oh, grief, and there's the ambulance. I'm sorry, I'm looking out this direction, and there's windows over here as well, and those windows, 3 emergency vehicles just passed. I may have to cut this even shorter than I think. So let's get through what we got here. So feel free, of course, as I mentioned earlier, like I don't know what the Buddha is talking about here. It's not that I don't have faith in what he's talking about, because I totally do. I absolutely think that the Buddha, I may not understand his meaning with this whole does what is beneficial but observes moderation in what is beneficial, especially when the attendant is supposed to be doing only what is beneficial and not what is harmful. I have faith that the Buddha knows what he's talking about, and he's talking about something very important and useful, and it means something. But at the same time, I don't know. I don't know what that is. And that might just be that I'm super tired, and that might just be that today has been a crazy day, and that might just be I'm just misreading it. That's okay, right? Feel free to correct me. Feel free to absolutely just, oh, no, that's not what's going on here. This is what it is, right? Or that's what it is, or whatever you guys are seeing. Let me know that too. Because I don't know everything. I'm not going to claim to. And today, with me being a kind of a mess today, that's probably more than usual. So yeah, feel free to let me know what you guys think of that. But yeah, that's how the Buddha says you're supposed to attend to the sick, right? So let's look at it. I'm going to look at the attendant, right? We could look at the patient, but let's look at the attendant first. Well, actually, let's look at the attendant, and I'm probably going to have to cut it short. So let's look at this in terms of helping somebody's mental health, not just physical health, because the Buddha talking about how one works with their physical health is super easy to understand. We're going to try and apply it outside of a physical context. We're going to try and apply it to a mental context, to a spiritual context, right? And yes, I realize I'm being a little on the selfish side, because what I'm really doing here is I'm really kind of being like, imagine that, let's figure out how I can best help, right? Yeah, Jeff, I just started back up with YouTube, doing them live and in person. So this is actually the first week that we're experiencing live on YouTube. Usually it's just on Facebook, and this week we got it on both. We have it on both. So at any rate, so let's try and figure out what this looks like in a different context, not just like, okay, sure, maybe you have somebody who like has the flu and they're like coughing up, phlegm, whatever jazz, right? But let's think of the mental and the spiritual kind of illnesses and such that we might see. So possessing these 5 qualities, an attendant is qualified to take care of the patient. Able to prepare medicine. What would that be in this case? Is that just like knowing the Dharma and knowing what pieces are going to work for that individual? I don't know, maybe. That's what I would do, well, actually, in some cases. In some cases, I would look at it and say, okay, well, for this particular person, the Dharma is not gonna be effective at this moment. The Dharma is probably not gonna be all that useful right now, at least not directly. All right, so preparing the medicine is kind of figuring out what ingredients are needed and what elements are needed to help the patient, right? To help the patient recover whatever is going on in their mind. Number 2, knows what is beneficial and what is harmful, and withholds what is harmful and offers beneficial. This is basically the same as I was just talking about. Knowing where and when to utilize what pieces of the Dharma or what pieces of basic caregiving and what might work and what probably won't work. This is not that hard to parse. Number 3, takes care of the patient with a mind of loving kindness, not for the sake of material rewards. Oh boy. So for this one, what if we have a patient who's experiencing some severe emotional or spiritual distress, and we are out to kind of get material rewards, we are doing it wrong. And I'm 100% on board with the Buddha on this one. No question about that. But how do we go about like seeing this individual who maybe not in a good way mentally? How do we go about having that loving kindness for them? Especially if maybe their condition isn't exactly conducive to it might disgust us, right? Well, the Buddha does say that we're not supposed to get disgusted at having to remove all of these things. So maybe all of these things that we're seeing, like say somebody is having some kind of major breakdown, and they're unable to control their anger, they're unable to control their sadness, they're unable to control, the words that are coming out of their mouth, and that's where they are, that's what state they're in. If I were to get disgusted at somebody getting angry when I'm talking to them, or if I was to get disgusted when somebody is sad and crying in front of my face, would I be doing my job right? Would I be caring for that individual properly? Not really. So in my way of looking at it, that kind of says I have to set myself aside a little bit. And when we're dealing with human beings of all stripes and varieties, whether they are healthy or not, whether they are mentally all there or not, whether they are spiritually, spiritually advanced, spiritually practicing, or maybe completely the opposite, and they are just absolutely terrible human beings. It's important for us as human beings to get over ourselves just a little bit, right? We don't have to compromise our values, but we do have to look at them and say, look, this is still a human being. They may not be a great human being, and they may be doing some really dumb stuff, but at the same time, they're still a human being. We've got to take care of them. We have to at least give them that modicum of compassion, that modicum of care as human beings. Right? And number 5, able from time to time to instruct, encourage, inspire, and gladden the patient with the Dharma talk. Now, in my line of work, a lot of times I can instruct, how was I going to put it? Instruct, encourage, and inspire, and gladden people with the Dharma. Sometimes I can do so, not making reference to the Dharma when that wouldn't be useful for them, when I know that that's not going to help them. But how do I go about figuring that out? I go about figuring that out by observing them, by being aware of them, by being mindful of the individuals that I'm speaking to. And I'm not perfect at it. I fail from time to time. I fail from time to time. We'll just leave it at that. But the simple reality is making the effort matters. Making the effort to see that human being, to observe them, to be mindful of what they need, and being able to kind of help them with that. That's pretty key. That's pretty important. Regardless of, whether they are an ill patient, or a healthy human being just out doing their thing. I think that's really kind of what the Buddha is getting at here, being mindful of the people that we are working with, the people that we are talking to, the people that we interact with, being mindful of how we do that ultimately is really kind of the key here. It's kind of the key to all of the things that I was talking about here. And at least as far as that goes, that's kind of how I'm going to be operating for a little bit. I'm going to have to kind of set my own thoughts aside as far as what's going on with the unit, as far as what's going on with this individual's team, as far as what's going on overall in this particular area of operations. I'm going to have to take a look at that and set myself aside so that we can help. Oh, did I just call the unit? I think I may have just called the unit a sick patient. Oh man, my brain, I am so out of it right now. No, that was not what I intended. Although realistically, how it works. Okay. No, you know what? If I go any further, I'm making myself in trouble. I'm going to go ahead and close it out here. I have not been able to say this in a while, but I'm so happy that I get to say this on the YouTube side of things, and that I get to see old friends on here as well. So by all means, as always, Dharma Boots, thanks for watching. I hope to see you guys next time.